Greetings to everyone watching this video. Today we have with us Aditya Shah from final year IT, who is currently studying at Veermata Jizabai Technological Institute, that is VJTI from Mumbai. And he has interned at Samsung Research Institute, Bangalore for a period of 2 months in his second year, and has interned and has PPO from Wells Fargo as of now. So now Aditya will tell you more about himself. So I'll pass it on to you, Aditya.
Thank you, Vedant, for having me here. As Vedant said, I'm Aditya Shah, and I'm currently studying IT engineering at VJTI. So previously, I've done 2 internships, one at Wells Fargo during my third year, and the other one was at Samsung Research Institute, Bangalore, in my second year. Coming on to the domains I love working with machine learning and web development.
Okay. So in your second year, usually when it comes to, I will directly come to the question. When it comes to the internship part, usually in the second year, not many students get into some of the good companies, and specifically in SRI Bangalore, you got an internship right in your second year. So can you tell us more about it? Like how was the journey and how did you apply to it, and what was the reason Samsung hired you in the second year?
So basically, even in VJTI, there were only two companies. I think the Samsung was the second company. The first one was Alpha Alternative that had come for second year internship as per se. So for Samsung specifically, what they had done is they had given a coding challenge to all the participants from India. And there were two rounds. So first was the shortlisting round for individual colleges. And the second round, out of the top selected students, top 20 were selected. So after those two coding rounds, there was no HR interview. So after those two coding rounds, top 20 students were given the second year internship.
Okay. Okay. So this, you are saying like there was no HR interview and there were two coding contests held, out of which top 20 were selected. So this, the top 20 selection, where third year students were also involved in it?
So
only the second.
So for Samsung, they had this new approach called Parichai competition. So basically, they wanted the second years as well to come for the internships. So the third year internship process is completely different, which they go on to the campuses and then hire.
Acha, got your point. Okay. So usually kaise hota hai like third year students get the PPO and they are then finally placed at some company. So I'm assuming like at Samsung, there was no such thing like PPO. So this was only like internship or was there some people?
Yeah. So there was this pre-internship offer, but since this was the first wave of COVID and they didn't have that many roles opening up, so they had refrained from giving so many PIOs as well as PPOs. So for third years, they didn't give any PPOs, and for PIOs, they only gave a few from those 20 selected.
Okay, got your point. So like what exactly is this pre-internship offer?
So basically, so you don't have to go through the whole hassle of giving the interviews again for any other company. So basically, you directly get an internship for the third year as well in the same team that you were working for a second. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a second year internship, then PIO, and then PPO. So this this is the usual journey. Okay, got your point. So like as you said, in the third year, you got into Wells Fargo, and that's the role is of software development engineer. Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
and
the name is different, but the responsibilities are similar. Yeah. So the name that Wells Fargo gives is Program Associate B. So
yeah. Okay, so this is all related to web development, like the skill set you like usually.
So for the internship that I had given for Wells Fargo, so that was a hackathon. So we were divided into teams and we were given certain problem statements and we had to build an end-to-end solution for those problem statements. So it wasn't a proper internship experience per se. Yeah.
Okay, got you. So, can you tell us more about your overall journey? Like, since you got into Samsung right in your second year, I'm assuming that from your first year or maybe before that, you have started your coding journey. So how did you go along with it, and what material or what websites did you refer for that?
So in my first year, I started coding because I had joined the community of coders, which is a college group in VJTI, COC. So in that, there were very seminars and workshops that they take, and I had joined that. So I started like that, and then I used to code on Geeks for Geeks and Lead Code and Interviewbit and other coding platforms that are well known. So for Geeks for Geeks, there's specifically one course that used to be there. Free. It was a free course. So it would basically sort out all the problems based on the topics. and then you go along all the topics. So basically you covered all the topics and you knew at least the basics of every topic. So that would help in any coding question or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Acha. So this is regarding the preparation that you said, and usually the resumes also matter a lot. So
Yeah.
any suggestions regarding the resumes? I usually ask everyone this question during the series, like, because resumes matter a lot, and you tell us more about it. Like every time, everyone gives different suggestions.
So what I like is, so I like the two partitioned resumes. So basically there are two columns. One is slightly wider and the other is slightly narrow. So basically what you want is the interviewer to focus on the wider portion of your resume. So when you look at human nature, so first thing that should pop out should be the most amazing thing about what you have done during your college life. So for me, in my third year, I had done the Samsung research internship. So that was the first thing that I put, then the projects, and then the other academic achievements and anything else. So for example, for someone who has a high GPA, they should put that first, so that the interviewer directly goes there and then sees that, okay, this person has high GPA, so I should start from this topic. So while resume, what they want to is so talking points for that particular interview, right? So you want to give the interviewers the talking points that you want to talk about. So I wanted to talk about my projects and the internship. So that were the first two things that I put.
Okay, so, got your point. Acha. So yeah, so you are saying, like, usually on the left side of your resume, the wider aspect, we have to write several things that will stand out and will create an impact. Yeah. And also I wanted to ask, maybe like extracurriculars. Did you mention those on your resume or anywhere else where you asked during your interviews about that?
I had mentioned extracurriculars, but in my experience, I was hardly ever asked about it. So a lot of people were asked, but I was never asked about it, because the most of the interview went about in the internship and the projects, and then the time was over, I think.
Acha. Like usually I haven't asked this question to anyone from CSIT as of now, but usually like there are several job roles that a person from CSIT can get, be it web developer or Android or analyst, then business intelligence developer or something like that. Then what exactly is the reason that you went behind software development or software engineering rather than becoming an analyst or a business intelligence developer?
Okay, so what I had thought about at that point, so I had seen the companies that come for placement in my college. So the first three companies that were there were Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and then Wells Fargo. So all those had software development roles, and I was pretty sure that I wanted to do something in that role. And after, what, say 2 or 3 years, you can obviously pivot to another roles whenever you want. That was the thinking process, nothing much.
Acha. Can you tell us more about the overall PPO process, like from Wells Fargo as an intern to a pre-placed engineer, software engineer at that company? So like, was it performance based, or does Wells Fargo give PPO to everyone who usually interns at their company?
So I don't think Wells Fargo had ever come for internship, or they don't usually hire freshers directly from college. So this was the first time they had done. And during the first onboarding session, we had asked that what is the pre-placement offer and how is it given. So they did, don't take stress about it. We'll sort it out later. And in the end, there were 190 plus interns, and everyone got a pre-placement offer.
Acha. So this was, so I'm assuming like this was their first year. So maybe they took this chance of giving PPO to everyone. Maybe later they'll change their policy. It might happen. Yeah. So overall, like your experience at Wells Fargo, I'm assuming like it was great since you took the PPO of that company. So for the juniors, like
Wells Fargo, I loved the people working there. So manager and everyone was very nice, and they came about and talked to me about the project and the details that I was working on and what I wanted to do in the future as well. So the people that working there were amazing.
Okay. So one thing, like I forgot to ask you, can you tell us more about the rounds that took place for the Wells Fargo internship?
So for Wells Fargo, there were 3 rounds. The first 2 were more technical, and the third was HR. So the technical round went as most of the technical rounds go. There were DSA questions and OOPS problems, and so that's it. Yeah, there was nothing new. Or one thing they had asked me was some puzzles and everything in the second round, where they were just judging that if you can critically think about the problem or not. That's it.
Okay. So, and in the interview process as well, there was one HR round, right? The final one.
Yeah.
Okay. And before the HR rounds, usually what happens is some companies, even the technical rounds are not so technical and rather based on their based on students' resumes or something like that. So, was Wells Fargo's technical interview a lot technical, or was it like a lenient one?
I wouldn't say it was a lot technical. The first round was, I think, purely based on BSA. The second round
Okay.
was more into the core concepts of computer science and IT. And
Acha.
with that, they had asked about my projects and resume. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So it was like a totally holistic process, and they are
Yeah.
going to select on that basis. Acha. So, like, usually, like, these are the questions I ask someone. Apart from this, if you have any suggestions for the juniors, then you can go ahead.
Yeah. So I have noted down a few points. Yeah.
Okay.
So the mistake I made during my internship, selection process, or the first few interviews that I gave, I never focused on HR questions. So I was like, dekh lege jo hoga hoga, because those questions are situation based, and I was like, I'll think on my feet and give. But you have to realize that you need to prepare some story, 4 or 5 things. Like what I had done was prepare 4 or 5 stories about the experiences that I had during my internship or the fest that I had worked in, and then you can mold these stories according to the question that is given. So if you're prepared, it becomes a lot easier to answer those HR questions.
Okay.
Second is, I would say that people often neglect the GPA aspect of it. If you have a GPA of around 7.5 and above, it's fine. But if you have lower than that, you should try to get it over, so that you can at least apply for every company that is coming to your college. Yeah, that too I had written.
Okay. So yeah, those are some of the great points. And even like during our placement process as well, only a few companies come for like 6.75 and above,
Yeah.
or 7.2 and above. So it's better to have a GPA of 7.5 and above. And moreover, like out of my experiences as well, what I have seen during the interviews is when the interviewer asks you the question, like be it related to your projects or work experience, anything. What they want to see is like, how are you framing the story for that? Like, I mean, by story, I doesn't mean like you have to bluff around. You just have to properly, convince the interviewer or someone like how you're perfectly fit for the role, and in that way, also like do maintain the confidentialities. If you are sitting for some other company, and if you have interned at some other company, then try to make sure that you aren't revealing anything that you have done at the first internship. Like you can tell about like what was the skeleton of the project, or the soul of the project, but don't tell everything about the tech stack or the client you are working with, because the interviewer will catch that and they'll reject you instantly, because this is what they want to see. This was the end of our interview. I'm in the discussion series, and like I'm glad to have you on this platform, and I'm hoping like aage jaake you will get into some even better job roles or something like that, and I'll have you again.
Let's hope for that.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Do you want me to like, share, and subscribe?
Yeah, definitely. Everyone,
So
please like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, please like, share, and subscribe the brown fella.
Thank you.